What's up, guys? Nuance Bro checking in, and today we're going to be talking about Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and her unusual and rather racist decree that she would only grant interviews to Black and brown journalists. So this all came about when Lori Lightfoot was reaching the 2-year anniversary of her being mayor, and she reached out to the media outlets to announce that she would only be granting one-on-one interviews with Black and brown journalists. And immediately we started to get reports from media outlets that this was the case, as you can see here, from Marianne Ahern of the NBC5 Chicago team. As Chicago mayor reaches her 2-year midway point as mayor, her spokeswoman says Lightfoot is granting one-on-one interviews only to Black or brown journalists. And immediately you had people asking, okay, what's the source of this? Can this be confirmed? What's going on here? Was there a misunderstanding? And no, actually, Mayor Lightfoot decided to come out herself and publish a letter declaring this. Office of the Mayor, City of Chicago, May 19th, 2021. Good morning. By now, you may have heard the news that on the occasion of the 2-year anniversary of my inauguration as mayor of this great city, I will be exclusively providing one-on-one interviews with journalists of color. As a person of color, I have throughout my adult life done everything that I can to fight for diversity and inclusion in every institution that I have been a part of, and being mayor makes me uniquely situated to shine a spotlight on this most important issue. I wanted to reach out to you directly to ensure you understand my thinking behind that decision. And then she decides to highlight her unique identity. My election in 2019 was hailed for breaking barriers to the halls of power that had existed in our city for generations. I ran to break up the status quo that has failed so many residents across our city. And that failing status quo did not apply simply to City Hall and city government. It pertains and exists in all public and private institutions. And here's where she strikes at the media. I have been struck since my first day on the campaign trail back in 2018 by the overwhelming whiteness and maleness of Chicago media outlets, editorial boards, the political press corps, and yes, the City Hall press corps specifically. In the year 2021, with a Black lesbian mayor, a Black woman city treasurer, a Latinx woman city clerk, and a majority Black and Latinx city council, the group of reporters assigned to cover City Hall is practically all white. Many of them are smart and hardworking, savvy and skilled, but mostly white, nonetheless. Indeed, there are only a handful of beat reporters of color in the City Hall press corps. While there are women of color who sometimes cover my administration, there are 0 women of color assigned to the City Hall beat. 0. I find this unacceptable, and I hope you do too. So you might be asking yourself, why should the color of someone's skin matter when it comes to their ability to report on something? Why should it matter that every institution in the United States is equally comprised of races that reflect the proportion of that population in the general population? Could it be that certain communities and different cultures prefer different occupations? Well, we'll get back to that in a second. First, to this claim that there are 0 women of color covering the City Hall beat. Local media outlet WBEZ Chicago disputed this claim, claiming 2 of the 3 WBEZ reporters covering City Hall are Hispanic and South Asian women, respectively. So already that claim from Lori Lightfoot is false. Now, luckily, some of the people of color in the media in Chicago decided to stand together with their white colleagues and condemn this. We have Gregory Pratt here, who says, I am a Latino reporter with the Chicago Tribune whose interview request was granted for today. However, I asked the mayor's office to lift its condition on others, and when they said no, we respectfully canceled. Politicians don't get to choose who covers them. So that was nice to see, but unfortunately, there were some other reporters of color who decided to hail the mayor for her decision.
And I applaud the mayor for being courageous enough to even talk about it, to bring forth this conversation. Was it the best way to do it, to exclude people? Hey, I'm not here to say, but I think the conversation needs to be had, and right now is a great time to have it.
But I want to get back to this one thing that Lori Lightfoot said. In fact, you can see her not just saying it in the letter that I showed you, but her reiterating this in an interview that she did.
If I, as the Black woman mayor, the first ever, don't challenge us, the collective us, to do better, to really make sure that in every institution, it reflects the diversity and nuance and texture of our city, then shame on me.
So you could see there, again, the mayor was saying, look, it's not just about the media, it's not just about the press corps, it's not just about city hall or government, but every institution. If every institution in this city does not reflect the population of this city or what this city looks like, its demographics, and I don't challenge that, then shame on me. Well, how about we pick an institution where there is a disproportionate amount of one group in that institution compared to the rest of the city's population? Let's take a look at the NBA. So this is a report from TIDES, the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sports. And this is the 2020 Racial and Gender Report Card for the NBA. And if we scroll down, we can see here on page 9 that the NBA has an A+ grade for the race of players. That 83.1% are players of color. And if we read up top, we can see as of November 1st, 2019, 83.1% of the NBA's players were people of color, increasing by 1.2 percentage points from the 81.9% recorded in the 2018 through 2019 season. The percentage of players who were classified as Black or African American in the league was 74.2%. Now remember, the Black population of the United States is around 12 to 13%. So 74.2% is a lot higher than 12 or 13%. But you don't usually hear people complaining about the lack of diversity in the NBA, of it not being representative of the US population, and that's somehow racist, and that we need to reduce the number of blacks in the NBA and institute affirmative action for white players or Asian players or Hispanic players and increase their proportion of the NBA. Yet despite that, the NBA gets an A+ grade for the race of players, according to this report, which seems to tell you it's not really about reflecting the broader population of the United States and getting an equal portion of those people to be in this institution, but it's really about decreasing the number of white people and increasing the percentage of people of color in this institution, regardless of their proportion of the overall United States population. And just to make it more specific to the city of Chicago, since Lori Lightfoot is the mayor of Chicago and she talked about institutions in her city, let's look at the Chicago Bulls. Here's the Chicago Bulls team roster. And if you go through all the names and the pictures, about 12 of the 17 players are Black, which means over 70% of the team is Black. But if you look at the city of Chicago, you can see that Black non-Hispanics make up 29% of the population, whereas white non-Hispanics make up 33.3% of the population. Yet I doubt we're ever going to see Lori Lightfoot boycotting the NBA and demanding that they hire less Black people. So I think it's important to call these things out for what it is. It is anti-white racism. That's really what it is at the end of the day. And while many did criticize Lori Lightfoot for her decision, nobody was quite as strong as condemning the anti-white racism that she was displaying as Tulsi Gabbard. As you can see in this tweet from Tulsi Gabbard, Mayor Lightfoot's blatant anti-white racism is abhorrent. I call on President Biden, Kamala Harris, and other leaders of our country of all races to join me in calling for Mayor Lightfoot's resignation. Our leaders must condemn all racism, including anti-white. And I think that's really important because in this modern day, you have a lot of people, especially in academia, pushing this weird new definition of racism that involves people having power plus prejudice instead of it just being a prejudicial belief based on race. It's this power plus prejudice equation that means, oh, Black people can't be racist against white people because Black people don't hold institutional power, therefore they cannot be racist. And it's really just designed as a cover to allow people to be racist against groups that they dislike, specifically Blacks or other minority groups being racist against white people. So I think that's toxic. I think we need to get rid of that. And it's nice to see someone like Tulsi Gabbard calling that out. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Social media links are in the description box below, as well as merch. Support us at nuancebro.com/join, and I'll see you next time.